Hi guys.
All right. Hello, hello. We are live. We should probably give just a couple of minutes to give people an opportunity to get on board. What I'm going to do for you guys that are here now is show you something really cool that I bought today.
Oh,
Not just the pulls for the week, but
Jean
in
Grey Underoos.
preparation.
Let's go.
Well, let's
No,
go.
if G- you know what? Never mind.
They
No
exist.
way!
I know they exist.
What I bought is this in preparation for our book club.
Oh, I got volumes 2 and 3 the other day.
I have volume 1 and 2. I got volume 1 as a gift, and this one I just picked up now from Midtown.
Nice. That's so
I'm,
nice.
I'm glad I picked that up because I've been looking at the rest of the Black Science to fill out my collection for that, and they're not in print anymore. Some of them.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I gotta jump on this right away. InStockTrades.com. Let's go.
Let's go. Good site. Hashtag not an ad.
All right. Well, you know what? Let's get started. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Pals Pulls. This is our weekly review show where we talk about the books that we're interested in. Well, some of us are interested in, and we discuss how good they are. I'm excited to get into this today. I am joined by Marco
What's up?
and Tyler.
All right, hi guys. Well, let's cut the shit real quick.
Okay.
We are in an election week, okay? As we previously talked about on the most recent episode of the Comics Pals. I know this isn't the main show, but we only have one day left on the X-Men vote, and looks like there's been an update.
Okay.
This is tweeted out by Marvel. This is the current standings of the X-Men vote. So in first place is Firestar. Guys, I'm just saying, let's get a search campaign going. Let's give Sean a nice late Christmas gift.
Please.
She's in fourth place right now. Needs to get right. I mean, this is I'm actually surprised how far Siren is down on the list. But
Dropping.
Yeah. Siren's dropping too.
Listen, Surge can win this. Firestar should not even be there. That's number one. That she is warping it by being way too familiar. Listen, she's been around. People know her from Spider-Man and the Amazing Friends. This isn't fair.
Yeah.
And Armor should be there. Fine, whatever. But Surge deserves to win. There's no doubt about it. She hasn't had a shot since the late 2000s, and even then, only as a part of the New Mutants or whatever. So she should be the winner. She needs a bump.
I agree. And I also really love her solo album after she left System of a Down to do her own thing.
Oh. All right, I get that.
I got you guys. That was
Over my head. Matt,
a deep one. Serge Tankian. Come on.
Yes.
Music artist.
Come on now.
Hey, you know what?
You have a whole music channel dedicated to you in the Discord, and you can't even get the one music reference I make on the show.
That channel originally was fully in Japanese, and I was outvoted in keeping it. All I wrote was music in Japanese, and I was like, no, you have to make it English. It's like, fine,
So one thing I also want to do is, Matt, tell me if you can hear me in the chat, because I screwed up last week for the show. I'm new at this streaming thing.
No.
I'm juggling a lot of hats here.
I checked.
You did? Okay, good. All right,
yeah.
good.
All right, so Tyler's audible. We've got people in the chat. We've got you guys listening at home. Here's how you can support the channel if you want to. Of course, we are live right now on Twitch, twitch.tv/thecomicspals. We go live every Wednesday at 6 for this particular show, and every Saturday at 10 for the main show. If you want to come hang out with us, make sure you leave us a follow. It really helps us out a lot, so thank you for that. Head on over to youtube.com/thecomicspals and subscribe to us for free over there. We are currently 8 subscribers away from 500, which has been our goal for a few months now. So help us get over that hump there. And then we're going to start working towards 1,000 so that we can all enjoy watching Kale do a backflip. That's going to be a trip.
Matt says, send feet pics to the Comics Pals for support.
No.
I mean,
that's Patreon exclusive.
I don't know, dude. Blurred, maybe blurred, but not
Blurred.
Also,
some
yeah.
Japanese feet pics. What's going on here? Like,
that's the new trend.
Okay.
Follow, rating, and review on all podcast hosting platforms. Wherever you listen to the show, there's a way to support. Our Saga Book Club is coming at the end of this month, so start your rereading for that right now, or your first read if you're getting through it. I have the second of the hardcover collections right here. I just picked this up, so I can't wait to dive into it. I've read it, but I want to read it in the bougie way. Without further ado, let's jump into our first review of the day.
I will say,
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for this.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys can hear I have the new Challenger approaching sound going on there in the background, but
Didn't hear it.
I could
but
just spam this.
full spoilers. We do full spoilers for all our books. Today we're going to be talking about Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, #1. Peep the cover, by the way, right?
Mr. Variant himself.
Yes, always. Scorched, #1.
Is that the
Nice.
variant, or did you just choose that for a specific reason?
I chose it for a specific reason. We won't speak on that.
Sean's a simple
like-
man.
Rain, #1.
Oh, nice variant.
Yes, absolutely. And then Robin and Batman, #3, the finale issue.
Oh, that's not a variant. That's the variant one you got right there.
I had to get it because it just looked way cooler than the variant, I thought. But yeah, let's dive into Daredevil, Woman Without Fear, #1. I've been really looking forward to this. I'm behind on the main Daredevil title, but I really like Elektra. And I wanted to just, find my way in. So a #1's perfect. Chip Zdarsky doing the writing here. The art by Rafael de la Torre. Colors by Federico Blee. And, of course, letters by Clayton Cowles. I think I say Clayton Cowles' name more than literally anybody else on this show. But in any event, I'm going to come out right ahead and say that I thought this issue was really, really good.
Yep. Hot fire. This was really good.
I have so many thoughts about it. Like if your knowledge of Elektra doesn't go past the Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner movie, like you gotta
The knowledge does not go past this book.
Really?
Oh, that's bullshit. You watched the Daredevil show.
Did you?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Apparently
of course he did. We
Didn't leave
reviewed
a
it.
mark on him. Jeez.
No. There was no Japanese hentai or robots having sex. So
How could I remember if there's no tentacles?
right, exactly. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Elektra is Daredevil now. Matt Murdock is still around, but he wasn't for a little while, so she is Daredevil now. And she's got a beef with the Kingpin, which should come to the surprise of no one. Devil's Reign is an event that's going on right now, and in that, Kingpin basically tells Elektra, "Hey, you've got trouble. Kraven is coming." And this entire issue, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I could feel the dread of him kind of looming over this book and just waiting for that to happen.
I forgot to read Devil's Reign #2 because I wasn't on the show for that one.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The whole Craven thing at the end, I'm like, oh, okay, sure. Didn't know that was coming. I was fine with it, though. I was totally fine with it.
Tyler, play the sound again. Bam, spoiler alert.
Oh, yes, but that's a spoiler alert for me. Really. I mean, I read the book, so you can't spoil what I've already read, but...
Matt, I will unwrap it on stream right after this.
Whoa, Ayo. I need an AO
my
alert.
God.
That's what I need. I need an AO sound.
Oh, my God.
Baruga.
Yeah.
All right, can we please...
I have a soundboard, Sean. This is dangerous.
I love it, but I don't even hear it.
I know. No, yeah. That's I'll figure that out one day. I know it's low priority.
Talk to me about Woman Without Fear.
I love the Daredevil universe, if you can even say that. I have a friggin' Chris Somney Daredevil tattoo. Like, I'm big into it. So yeah, I'm a huge Elektra fan. And what Zdarsky's been doing with her has been real growth for the character, which I don't think we've gotten in a long time. She's kind of reinventing herself, and this is kind of the natural evolution with Matt Murdock being Daredevil again in the picture. So seeing him being able to kind of tell this 3-issue mini off to the side, but still have it tied into the main Devil's Reign ongoing, is nice. It takes her off the table for the main Devil's Reign book.
Right.
So you can kind of focus that on, Matt Murdock and his arc in Daredevil. But you also don't lose her because you have this going on. And giving her the title of, Woman Without Fear is a big deal too. Because it really cements her as Matt's equal. And I really enjoyed it. It had this, even though I didn't know Kraven was supposed to be coming at the end there, it did have a sense of like, oh, something is going on here. She's being lurked. They had that, is it Aka or AKA? I think it's just Aka, right?
Aka, yeah.
She was kind of lurking in the background, who I'm not too familiar with as a character. I don't know if this is like a new thing.
I wasn't sure either.
Okay. But yeah, and then just the idea of like how she is fighting her natural tendencies. She a lot of the deals with this issue deals with flashbacks and her remembering her background, training with stick, training with the hand, and she's actively fighting against that in what she does now because she has to stick to Matt's code. And it's that good, man or woman versus nature in this, their own nature, that I'm really enjoying about this. Do you know what Del Toro was also on? The name's super familiar.
I know
think I
I've
would
read
do work
something
on looking this up, but
you would think I would do it. Well, while you do that, Marco, why don't you share a little bit of your thoughts?
So my familiarity with Elektra is relegated mostly to the show, the movie. Actually, I don't even think I saw the movie. But the context here, I think, is provided really well. She's essentially an agent of the hand, has sort of her own transformations, and I think what Chip does to introduce you, I think Chip does three things really well. He introduces you to the character if you're new, which for me I am. I thought that translated really well. It drew me into the issue. And if you're reading Devil's Reign leading into this, I think that transition was perfect, silky smooth. I don't think that a lot of times we've been reading events and the transitions feel sort of disjointed. This was clean.
Yeah.
And it was a satisfying story. You tell a story in a single comic, which I think nowadays you really rely on the larger story or the larger event. But I think everything here was self-contained in very much to what Tyler said is what is Elektra trying to find within herself, and how is she trying to harness a lot of that. And I think it was really effective storytelling. The art's on point, phenomenal. Does a really good job. I think the action sequences were really good, but it gave itself these little emotional beats when she meets her old college friend, when she has sex with Matt. Like they're just all these beats are done in a really engaging way, and I had a lot of fun with this. I wasn't sure about it going in. I think the concept of her fighting Kraven sort of brought me in, but I stayed for the content, and I think I'm going to stick on this one and see where it continues to go because it's really, really engaging.
Can I just say, by the way, that's how events can be effective? We have a lot of times seen events where you're just like, what the hell is even going on? I don't even know who I'm supposed to care about. I think about like Empire, which had a bunch of tie-ins, but they were irrelevant and who cares? Like what, like in the main story, right? What,
I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed Empire?
I did. Yeah, I did.
You're insane.
We're talking to the guy who, up until like the penultimate issue, enjoyed Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah. I don't even want to get into Tyler's
tasty
madness.
art. It's tasty.
Of course, it's tasty, but to eat the tasty part, you have to eat a layer of shit. There's like a top layer of shit. Then there's taste. Then underneath that is more shit. And me personally, I don't like the taste of that. So
like an Oreo man of shit.
What did the X-Men have to do with Empire? Nothing.
I set you off on Empire.
I know. Nothing. But they did it anyway. So that's what I hate about events, when they give you a tie-in to go and buy that has nothing to do with the main story. But here, the spin-off was perfect. And so they set Elektra up for a really great story, gave us a villain hook, but underneath that is a story about a character who doesn't get enough love from fans. Elektra is a person whose trauma basically left her a shell of a human, and she did not know how to fill that. And unfortunately for her, she looked to Stick, and he's kind of a nutcase, and then the Hand found her, and they played on her anger and her violent tendencies and made her a monster. And this is her becoming a person, and that's kind of been her journey for a while. And I really, really love the depth of that because, in comics, a lot of characters just don't grow. And I think Elektra is one that has.
And she's always been kind of like almost an antagonist to Matt Murdock, honestly. Like she's always been that complication for him. Right. And like, this is one of the first times I can remember that they're actually working together, like it's working. And of course, what better way to throw Matt off in the main book than to take her out of the equation now? I like how From Beyond the Stars just tuned in right when we were talking about shit Oreos, and a little confused there. That's streaming for you though. So
okay, so that's Catherine from the Discord. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate it. I am not talking about me personally eating shit.
Okay.
I was talking about the fact that Tyler enjoys to eat shit sandwiches in the form of comic books, which unfortunately is true. There you go. See, he just copped to it.
He put some shit, like he put some sprinkles on shit. Yeah, it's a good looking shit. You know what I mean? Like
that's disgusting.
I believe it's called fairy bread in Australia.
What?
Just Google fairy bread. It's an actual thing.
Did you just make that up?
No, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's literally, I think it's like white bread and I think just sprinkles. It's something weird.
This podcast is
it's all right. It is sliced white bread spread with butter or margarine covered with sprinkles.
Yes.
Marco, what are you? Don't enable this.
That was a quick Google, Marco. That was a silent one too. I didn't hear any clicking of clacking.
You know what it is? It's this keyboard. It's nice and thin. It's an Apple keyboard.
Guys, please.
So I want to clarify. Like you guys spoke on Elektra's relationship, and I feel like just off of this issue, it feels like a, especially using the word complicated, kind of like a Batman Catwoman dynamic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Kind of.
And just in that sense, I feel like that works.
The biggest difference is that Catwoman is often mischievous and, has agendas that don't necessarily align with Batman in terms of execution. But generally, she wants to do, like, she takes down, criminals just like he does a lot of the time. But it's for more personal reasons, and she has a little bit of a harsher sense of justice. Elektra will kill you. Elektra is a murderer. Okay. And that's Catwoman probably has killed people. Not that I can recall, but she probably has. But, like, that's not her MO. Elektra, that's her deal. She will kill you.
Like a straight up assassin.
Can
I bring something up that I just realized?
Sure.
Daredevil and Elektra are the only Marvel characters in comics that they let fuck. Like, I can't think of any other mainstream Marvel book that has scenes like that.
Leave it to Tyler. I can't think of one either. I feel like I've seen Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
Not recently. We've talked about it. He ain't having it ongoing at all recently. So
not since the kid. Not since the kid.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a thought, because I remember that was a scene in it too. Which helps us understand their relationship, because it is physical based a lot. And this is them connecting even a little more than that, which she even talks about. But then I just thought about it. I'm like, you don't see that in Marvel anymore, really. Like, yeah, even like the Wolverine, Cyclops, Jean Grey thing is alluded to, but it's never like expressly stated. So
not at all. And I feel like Hickman kind of addressed that in the Explain the X-Men podcast.
Oh, did he confirm it?
No,
really?
No, of course not. He just talked about the limitations that were put on him and the crew as far as what they could display with that kind of thing and how hard he had to fight to allow them to have that situation in the first place.
But you get to let the nice God-fearing Catholic man fuck on comics. Like, I don't know. There's a weird thing going on here.
Sexuality aside, because like Marvel, this is a sexless podcast.
It's a comic book podcast, you know.
Exactly.
What do you expect?
The art was really good here. We haven't really touched on it too much, but did you figure out what De La Torre had worked on before?
Kelly Thompson's Black Widow run, the current one going on with Jordy Blair on colors. It is nice looking. It is a good looking book. But that final page with Kraven, like Kraven has got one of the stupidest fucking costumes in comics. It is.
Really? You think so?
Oh, I think it looks like Sex Dungeon Fred Flintstone. Like it's.
Let me show it, by the way.
Yeah,
for you guys that are watching.
And when I say that, I mean that with the utmost respect because it is an amazing costume. I like me a dumb costume. And when an artist can draw him and make him look legitimately menacing, I enjoy that because I'm like, oh, okay, this guy can be a problem. And he's been showing up a lot lately in weird comics, you know. Like he's kind of expanding his boundaries beyond Spider-Man. He was the main antagonist in an arc of the Valkyrie series.
Wow, that is random.
I know, right? Not what you'd expect. Trying to hunt down the Fenrir. But yeah, no, it's good. I really enjoy the art. I thought it was very good.
Yeah, I thought the colors were great too. Federico Blee is a colorist that I have seen. I again can't remember where, but I know their work. Very talented, and I thought it was perfect here. I love some of these these colored skies, like unnatural colors. Really good stuff. Like, yeah, does the sky ever look like that? No, but
yeah,
it looks.
It does.
I mean, I don't know, man. I never seen the
house,
sky just have straight pink in it. When does the sky have pink?
A cotton candy sunset? You never heard of that?
No.
Yeah.
Guys, you got too many buildings where you are. You need some open skies, man.
You're right. I do have too many buildings around that. But guess what, Tyler? I am not willing to trade that for living 8 hours out of the city. What's the point of living in New York if you don't live in New York City?
One of the worst thing too is I moved to Buffalo and my body decides I can't handle hot sauce anymore. So
boom.
What?
It's bad timing, man. I have wings and I'm like, oh shit, I'm done for the day. I'm out.
Oh shit,
I'm out.
But yeah, the art was great. There's some action in this issue, not a ton. I think it'll get bloody next time around, but the action that we do get is pretty kinetic, and I can tell that from an action standpoint, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see what else we get from that side of things. Elektra's a physical person, and you know, whether she's having sex or she's beating the crap out of somebody, you know, it's got to look good, and they nailed it.
Agreed.
So, whose pick of the week was this?
Not me. I say pull it, but it's not my pick of the week.
Yeah, I'd say pull it.
I say pull it too. Not my pick of the week either, which makes me really excited to see what you guys chose. That's gonna be fun. I did promise that I would unwrap the Saga hardcover that I have here. I'm very scared because I am not good at opening things carefully.
It's basic cellophane.
Okay, so help me. Wait, there is. Oh! Thank goodness I bought it from Midtown. They're terrible.
It's torn already.
Nice, so it's already torn. So actually, I have to do no work.
The classic Midtown Comics tearaway flap.
Yes,
patented
for all of you unwrapped fiends. Here it is.
We'll put it close to the mic. We need to hear that.
Love that.
Some ASMR. Okay. I'm gonna tag this ASMR on the Twitch.
Boom.
We're good.
And we're done. It is open.
All right, open up to a random page. Let's see if we got our stream taken down.
All right, here we go. Whoa, I cannot open it to that page.
Yep, I knew it. It's like a 50-50 shot when it comes to
Wow,
to
I can't show that on stream. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for that, Matt. It's done. Let's talk about Spawn. I know.
Book of the week.
Whoa, okay.
No, okay. I'm outright lying. That's an outright lie.
We are talking about Scorched #1. You know, I had to get that cover.
For the bike.
I'm a motorcycle fiend. So this was written by Sean Lewis, who is also doing Kingspawn, I believe.
Yeah.
With art. Oh, sorry. Todd McFarlane credited with additional dialogue. Which
What else does he do?
what else would what would a Spawn book be without his additional dialogue?
I imagine.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm imagining Sean Lewis had a meeting with Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane's like, I gotta take a shit. Come follow me. And they go to like the bathroom of the Image Comics headquarters, and he's like in a stall shitting his brains out like Todd McFarlane. But he's saying dialogue lines, and Sean Lewis has to like write them down on a coffee stained post-it note.
That's insane. I hope that's not
that happened.
That did not happen.
That's called the Scorched. That's the pitch, right? That's the elevator pitch, the stall pitch. That's what it is.
So art by Steven Segovia and Paulo Sequeira.
Sure.
Colors by Ulysses.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
You got it.
Areola, I guess.
Okay. Well,
No, it's a double R there. Arr, you gotta do the R's.
You go ahead,
Let's
man.
get me talking about
Areolas.
yeah, Sean doing that is going to talk about anatomy if he goes that way.
And then Nikos Kostis, and on letters we have and world design. So I'm going to also jump up in front of this one and say I thought this was pretty good.
Yeah?
I enjoyed this. Yes, I enjoyed it.
I will say that I'm kind of with you. I think it dragged on a bit.
Let's go,
But
Tyler.
I didn't hate it.
If this issue was standard comic length, I think it would have been exceptional for a Spawn comic.
What does exceptional for a Spawn comic mean?
This, I mean, you haven't been reading Spawn, so like I'm telling you, if this had just ended after like they establish why they're a team and stuff, it would have been fine. Like if this page right here was the end of the comic, full spoilers, obviously. If this was the end of the comic, I think it would have been real good.
I agree with you, actually. Yeah.
What? Yo, that moment was so cheesy. I did not like it.
Oh, of course it was, but that's not the point. This is Spawn. So if you're worried about cheese, I think you got to exit stage left. Like,
No.
yeah, what do you mean no?
Oh,
yes,
it's full. It's full cheese. Full
Yeah.
beefcake cheese.
Look at the cover. What do you want? But what I'm saying is this, okay? We've never had a Spawn team up of this degree before. It's a superhero team with Spawns on it, okay? It has medieval Spawn, gunslinger Spawn, she Spawn, the Redeemer. What more could you ask for?
Plague
They're
Spawn.
beating ass. Yeah, Plague Spawn. Who's that? I don't know. Don't care.
I can't wait for Kung Fu Grip Spawn to come out. Underwater Spawn. It's just 90s Batman action figures, but Spawns, which
Yeah.
is dumb, but I kind of enjoy it in a dumb way. But
Look, I'm not saying it was perfect. I really dislike the fact that like they have She Spawn playing this sort of like Captain America call the play role, but every play she calls is extremely obvious. Like, protect the girls. Oh yeah, that's what we're here to do.
it's a little redundant there, She Spawn.
Yeah. Oh, medieval Spawn, go fight. Yeah. What am I gonna do? Stand here? Like, there's so many instances where she's saying the obvious. And I was hoping, because if she's the leader, that's really cool. I was hoping she'd have strategies, things to say that were really like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. But like, I'm just gonna pull up a quick page where she's calling the play, as it were.
It's like playing a battle royal game with me. It's just I'm not good. I can't call shit. It's not good. Like shoot that guy. I'm like, where? Like, oh, all right.
Yeah, it just never really comes together effectively. And of course, I can't find a page in which she's protect the girls, then kill all the wolves. Yeah,
I gotta say, I enjoyed Steven Segovia's art. Honestly, I thought this was real good for what it was. Like, this is the type of artist that works on Spawn. But the wolves didn't look like wolves. They looked like wolves that might have bred with Pomeranians.
A little poofy.
Yeah, a little too poofy, a little too docile looking, you know. Otherwise, I thought the Segovia art was actually a lot of fun.
I feel like the art on these books are always killer. I think the For me, it's always, man, these extra just like letterboxes. I cannot. I'm trying to find one.
The
They're just
narration.
moments. That narration, man, it's just
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
There are
it's heavy.
moments that slow down the book for me. I think that was my biggest thing. Was Roy McConville had done like my favorite issue of Spawn that we read to date, and I was ready for more of that. We reviewed the previous issue that kind of fell back into the same thing, and I was hoping for something a little bit different with this, but nah, man, we're still here. I think all the additional dialogue was dedicated to these narration boxes from McFarlane here, but they definitely brought the book's pacing a bit. Just made it a little bit slower. Literally, there's one that just says Jessica has a plan.
Like I said,
Okay.
dictated from a stall. You got to be quick. You got to be short and sweet.
They're called Locust Rangers. Okay, like, it's just I just like slapping labels on shit.
Did you like the typos that I was messaging
Oh
you in
my
our
god!
chat?
Oh,
Dude.
It is typical of Spawn, in my opinion, to get your hears mixed up. HEAR versus HERE. Nice to see that typo in there. There's a couple issues with the letters, the letter balloons, like the dialogue balloons, being misplaced. Like apparently
Yeah.
Spawn is a ventriloquist who can throw his voice in one instance. And you said you saw they got mixed up 2 and 2.
yeah, I'm trying to find that one.
I couldn't find it, but I don't doubt it. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, Todd McFarlane is good at one thing, two things. One of them is drawing. He's a tremendous artist, one of the best we've ever had. The other is picking artists for the book. If he's not drawing it, Todd will always be able to identify artists who will draw Spawn really well. Nothing else can you expect of Todd as it relates to Spawn, including making sure that the dialogue makes sense or doesn't have typos or anything like that. That's too much to ask for.
is there an editor on this?
Todd McFarlane. No, I don't know.
Like I don't.
One would hope.
Oh, it's Thomas Healy. And let's not even go there with Thomas Healy. Let's just attribute it to Todd and call it a day because we don't know anything about what's going on here, right?
Sure.
I mean, are you talking about the plot of the story or the production? Because I agree on both.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't know, man. I just love it. Like I love to see medieval Spawn. He's just a massive tank. That's awesome. Like they have their Hulk, but he's a Spawn.
That dude looks like he just got like tier 6 paladin gear or something. Like, like I feel like that's why you're into him. You
They need
like,
to have a Spawn set.
You like a good plate armor. I feel like
Yeah,
you're a fan of some good plate armor.
I'm a paladin.
I know.
Like that's my. And by the way, Catherine from the Discord will definitely understand what I'm talking about because we were both paladins in WoW. That's how we met. What's up with the power scale of these spawns? By the way, like they're not consistent, right? Like I have no idea what any given spawn can do. None at all.
Gunslinger Spawn slings guns. She Spawn
Also
guns. I liked the
And
part
butt.
where main Spawn Prime. There might actually be a Spawn Prime, so I don't know what I'm talking about here. But the main Spawn takes one of the guns and uses it because why not? It's not like you can kill anyone any other way. Like
I feel
trying to
like
prove a point.
we had
he
somebody.
kills her. Sorry, Marco, but like, what point is he proving?
That he can get down too.
That whole sequence was another moment. I was just like, okay, like, it was like, should we leave one alive? Al, they're fighting. Pulls out a gun. It's like, hey, are you part of the secret organization? Yes. Pop. It's like, what the hell was that? What are you proving? What are you doing? There's no heat to this shit.
Come on, hold on.
You need some heat. Is what you need, brother.
You guys didn't like the battle with the locust monster?
I'm not into bugs, dude. I don't know if I ever talked to you guys about this, but I do not like bugs, like in general.
Not a fan.
I'm not a
Not a
fan
Me
of
neither.
bugs.
Bugs are awful, but that's the point. They had to fight a monstrous locust creature, And I love the team up. I thought that was great. I actually thought that was way better than when the X-Men formed in issue 1 of Jerry Duggan's run and they got to that stupid Power Ranger. This was way better than that.
Nah, that's
yes, bro. I'm
That
sorry.
part just slapped.
you can't say you liked Spawn better than the X-Men. I know
Yes, I
I'm
can.
diluting. I mean, you can, you can. We are okay with free speech here. But
You're just not allowed to.
But your free speech can be dog shit, but
You like shit. Don't talk to me about dog shit when you eat shit.
there's different types. There's different types. Dog shit is not something. Spawn shit is not. Is there a shit Spawn?
Yeah, Tyler Olsen.
I'll gladly take it. I mean, if Todd,
just needs
you
the
want to draw
shirt.
me, Todd? Feel free.
I'm sure for the right amount of money he would.
That's for sure.
I don't know. I obviously I'm outnumbered here, but I got a lot out of this. I thought this was really enjoyable.
You're not outnumbered because I agree with you. I think it's stupid fun. I enjoyed this one much more than I enjoyed the main Spawn series. Like
Which,
this one,
by the way, yeah, you will find that to be the case almost across the board.
yeah. I remember when I did the long box. I think we did Spawn 300, maybe. I forget. Maybe it was that or Spawn Universe. I don't remember. But like when Spawn keeps it stupid, that's when I like Spawn because it's like a different flavor of comics that I don't necessarily get, especially compared to like the next book we'll talk about. But like it's dumb. Like I'm okay with a dumb book. I'm okay with turning my brain off occasionally. And that's and it's like taking a little time machine to the 90s in a way.
I'm gonna make us read. Well, I mean, I'm sure it'll be really great, but I'm gonna make us read Alan Moore's Spawn at some point.
That's not a thing, is it?
Yes,
It is.
Who is it? Todd on art?
Yes, dude.
Is it?
Oh
dude.
man, that's gonna be
That might
some.
actually be really good.
That's gonna be insane. I have not read it.
Oh boy, that sounds misogynist as fuck.
Oh no.
Why? What?
It's just the first thought that came to mind.
Fair enough. Pull it.
Yes, I mean you're talking about the book, right? Okay, so yeah,
Yes!
okay, all right, pull it. It's number 1. Yeah, why not? Pull it. Actually, wait, this was like a $6 book, wasn't it? This was. I remember looking at this and being like, "Oh, motherfucker."
It's so expensive that the price is not anywhere.
Yeah, it's not cheap, so maybe not. Actually, you know what? I would say if it was a normal priced book and it only told you the main story, pull it.
But it was twice as long. I feel like that's well deserved from a price perspective.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
the stuff
I
that
agree.
was added to it was not enjoyable.
That's true too.
It was unnecessary story.
Pull it.
Pull it for the number 1, I guess.
Listen, it might be worth money, man. When they make the movie based on that, you will wish that you had your copy.
Jamie Foxx as She Spawn. Let's go.
All right. Anyway, let's talk about another number 1 over at Image. This time we're talking about Rain, number 1. This is a Joe Hill joint, which is really interesting because what about Hill's house?
Yeah.
But
Got evicted.
nice job. So this is by Joe Hill. Oh wait, or did he not?
I think he
write
might have
this?
plotted this one.
Yeah, it's a story by Joe Hill. The adaptation of that is by David Boer, which is interesting. Art by Zoe Thorogood, who is a decent Twitter follow. Colors by Chris O'Halloran and letters by Sean Lee. That is my long lost brother. So Marco, why don't you start us off here?
So I was excited for this book because it was a Joe Hill joint. I think it was. I like his horror. He does a lot in that genre, and I think this is an interesting take on some of that. Obviously adapted by someone else, but I think it was a fun read. The entire book feels like it's leading to some impending thing, and you get a lot of those moments. Similar to how we had in, like we talked about, the Electra book. Like it was all leading up into this moment, and we got that payoff. Sorry, Tyler, you.
This was actually a Joe Hill novella, an acclaimed novella by Joe Hill.
There you go. You know what? Like, I think it being adapted here, it works. I don't know that we've read any other book that was once a book and adapted, but this worked for me. I had fun with it. The characters, I think, the way they were introduced, it could have been a little clearer. I was just kind of confused on who some of the people were. But otherwise, yeah, this was a cool setup issue.
Yeah, I mean, so this is also the first book in the new Image and Print line, Syzygy, which you can see a little logo right above the N in the rain logo there. I really like Zoe Thorogood as an artist.
Yes.
Anything Zoe puts out, I'm like, yeah, that's enough for me. So mix that with Joe Hill's name. I was like, oh yeah, I'll definitely read this. And I super enjoyed this. This was like a really good, like cold open to a story that hooked me immediately. It's simple in the fact that it really only introduces one character for the story going forward. And it kind of focuses on what that character's needs and wants are. And you kind of feel and understand that character by the end of it. Which I think really lends itself to like working for the story. And Zoe Thorogood's art is just, it's a little scratchy and cartoony at the same time. It's hard to explain. It's one of those things where I think you just kind of need to like check it. I mean, look at the cover. There's a little taste of it. But it's really, really fun. It's not fun. No, fun's the wrong word. This gets dark. This gets dark.
This is the least fun book I read all week.
Go ahead, Marco.
Sorry, for me while I was reading this, the main character looks like somebody I know in real life. So every time that she would come up on screen, I just like envision this person that I know so I was reading the book like I would in this person's voice. So it was a little weird for me as I was going through it, but fun regardless.
I've never had that happen.
Thank you, Clint Taku, for the follow, by the way. Go ahead, Tyler.
No, I was going to say I never had that happen where I was seeing somebody I know in a comic.
Like exactly. I'll show you guys a picture of it. Like exactly.
That's weird. That's
wild.
Yeah,
Marco, have I heard of this person?
No.
Oh, yeah. This was excellent. This was so excellent.
Yeah.
One of the best things about doing this podcast for me is getting to read books that I would not otherwise be exposed to. And this is definitely one of those. I would not have bought this for any other reason. And I'm so glad that I did. The way that this is structured is so excellent for a horror story when you can introduce a sense of dread from the earliest moments where no matter what you see on the page right now, this is going to get really bad at some point. All you're waiting for is that moment. And it kind of operates in a way of like, it introduces the dread and it introduces the love, right, between these two central characters at the same time. But then as the book sort of unfolds the story, you are witness to the love and you connect to that. And then everything falls apart. And It's like, oh my God. Think about the quality of storytelling where you care after, I don't know, 20 pages when these characters start dying. Like it matters. It mattered to me that they were dying, even though I knew that that's exactly what was going to happen.
And then
that's really good.
The tool of telling us they are going to be dying so nonchalantly in the beginning of the issue. It's like, oh, what am I about to witness? Oh, I'm a little uneasy. And like I'm looking at the cover on the screen right now, and like it's such a good cover too, because it tells so much about the story and what the issue entails without you realizing it until you've already read the book.
Yeah, for real. When I was at the store and I was picking covers, I looked at that one. I was like, okay, that's really weird.
Oh, it's a romance
and then I
book.
went with this one, which has a different context when you've read the book. You know, like it just excellent covers.
I almost don't want to even talk about exactly what happens because, like, we haven't said exactly what happens.
No,
I don't think we should. That's
fine. I'm cool with that. I think anybody who's listening to this should go buy this. This wasn't my book of the week.
It was mine.
But I really I really strongly think that you should go pick this up if you like horror comics. It's not even like horror in the way of like, being visually disgusting or having a monster or anything like that. It's just a different idea and concept that is just really excellently executed. It's the excellence of execution. If you
it just plays with mood, and it gives you the illusion of comfort, and I think that's something that Joe Hill does really effectively. Lock and Key is a really good example of that's just a constant. I think technique that he does is he lulls you into safety and then switches it up on you.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant book. Pull it for sure.
I think this
is my book of the week.
Yeah, same Marco. Yep. I think it's a unanimous pull it.
Yeah.
So now then that means we're on to my book of the week. It's no secret at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Robin and Batman #3. Boy, this I really thought this was
that nice special. Red bover you got there.
Yeah. Jeff Lemire, art and colors by Dustin Nguyen, letters by Steve Wands. This book really touched me, man. I love Robin just as much as the next person. I wouldn't say that I'm like a Robin super fan, but I love Robin. And there aren't enough stories out there about Dick Grayson specifically as young Robin. Obviously because that time has passed and he's an adult and everything else. I get that. But revisiting that time period through these 3 issues has been really cool. Getting a different angle at what Dick was like in the past and what Bruce was like and what Alfred was like. And this ended wonderfully. Just it zoomed in on the conflict between Robin and Croc. But on the emotional end, Robin's dealing with his issues, in a way that Batman never really did. We know the story of Bruce and why he is who he is. And we get that. We know it from childhood. This is basically the same moment that we see with Robin where his parents die. We know what happens with Bruce from that exact moment until now. We get it. But with Robin, here's a person who isn't content with just living in darkness. He doesn't want to be engulfed by that. But it's happening. And he finds a way out of that. And I thought that was beautiful. This is why he's different than Batman. It's because he didn't succumb to it. He could have still won the fight in the end if he had, but he didn't. He's a different person than Bruce. And it's important to make that clear through the story that they're not the same. And I really love that.
Man, Sean, you should really read some of Lemire's other stuff. I think this is one of the reasons why I like him as a writer, is his way to just really build a character from scratch and be able to just guide you through their growth through just a few issues. Black Hammer is going to be really good stuff, and I think his solo work as well.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I just haven't been able to get into anything Lemire has done that's not from the big 2. I read, what did I read? I can't remember, but I tried a couple of things, and they just didn't immediately hook me. And I don't really love to buy books that I don't like, so.
Like Sweet Tooth, have you tried that one? Or
yeah, actually, that was one of them.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? I don't get it. I don't care. It was weird.
So for this, I think this book kind of saved the miniseries for me. I wasn't too hot on it previously. I thought it was delving a little too deep into Robin, I guess tiptoeing that line between, good and Batman. I don't want to say evil, but good and Batman.
Right.
Where it was almost going too far, where I felt like it was out of character for Dick. I felt like he never even got that far. But this book kind of saves that in a bit. It really shows that, like you said, he is not he's not Bruce. And this is him. This is the turning point for him in his, move from, just Dick Grayson to becoming Robin. I thought the Dustin Nguyen art, I mean, I love Dustin Nguyen, but I will say this felt a little looser than normal for Dustin Nguyen. There's a lot of pages that were empty. even like the ones I can think about most are like the main fight scene between him and Croc, where the backgrounds are just paint strokes. Like there's no form to them in some parts. It's part and parcel for a Dustin Nguyen book, but I felt this was even a little more. I don't want the term phoned in is coming into me, but I think that's too harsh. I guess it's just a little more loose than I'm used to seeing from him. Which it's still Dustin Nguyen, so it's still damn good. But I thought it was a little. It's not what I'm used to out of Dustin Nguyen. I'll just leave it at that.
It's funny because I noticed that too. And a lot of times I would be bothered by that. But for some reason, for me, it added to the atmosphere of the story. I don't know.
For me,
I got something out of it.
I think it was the color use. Usually there's more of like I feel like in the pages where we see like Croc and Robin just like themselves there, I feel like, or close-ups, there's a bit more of like a transition between colors, and in watercolor sometimes that helps make things like look a little bit smoother, and the images look like they're contained in the lines a bit more. But in these cases where you don't have that, and I'm looking specifically in the fight where they're like almost underwater, you can look at the water sequence when Robin's almost passed out, and then the pages before and the pages after, and you can see there's like harsh delineations between some of the colors, and they're not. They look almost like they're additional pencils and additional lines, and like it makes look some of the form a bit more blocky. Mm-hmm. That said, I think I dug it. He always crushes for me. And in these instances, I don't think they affected the quality of the book for me. I think they were just, for me, like minor grievances.
So the moment where Robin is being held underwater by Croc, and he sees his parents and he's like clearly dying, that got me emotional because he's a kid. You know what I'm saying? And like, for Batman to be in a position like that, it's like, all right, well, you asked for this. You're fully aware of what you're doing. You fight crazy guys like this all the time. It is what it is. But for Robin, who's probably like 10 years old here, or 11 or something like that, to be in a position where death is imminent against a creature who blames him for things that, he can't even really understand fully. He's on the verge of death. I really connected with that. I thought that was great work on Lemire's part. And Alfred's role throughout this whole thing has been fantastic. Even Croc, I felt sympathetic for him. He didn't ask to be treated as a circus freak. And I thought that was a perfect stroke of genius casting on Lemire's part to make Croc an antagonist for Robin. I'm surprised no one has thought of that sooner.
It works really well. You connect them, I think, even like logically. They stem from the same sort of environment, and I think those are kind of like those are interesting stories because you have them as like similar origin and starting points, but they vary from there. They go to such different lengths. Obviously, the situation with Robin's a little bit different. He had like parents, and he has like that kind of a trauma, whereas I think the stuff with Croc's a bit more insular. It was more so like the shaming of him and the destruction of his ego, which is a little bit different. But I think what Bruce was doing was something similar, trying to get at his core, trying to break that down so he can reassemble it into whatever Bruce wanted Robin to be. And when he finally pushes through that, he simultaneously pushes through Croc and beats him, and just really, really well done, I think, character moments. And blast with this. I think similarly, the casting for Croc was a really good idea because again, you can just use them from the same starting point.
Yeah. This was my book of the week. I'm bummed a little that it's over, but I like what I got enough that I'm comfortable with the story they told. This was awesome. It's only 3 issues again, so I think that whether I mean, at this point, you'll probably just pick it up and trade, but, definitely, I think go out and do that if you like Robin and you want to see a time where Dick was a little bit younger and just kind of coming into himself. This is a perfect book for that. I really, really loved it. What do you guys say? Pull, pass, trade?
Absolutely pull.
Trade. I say trade. I feel this would be a
Really?
good little giftable one done story. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, just get it somehow. However you want to get it, get it.
Cover's great, by the way. That red cover.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a weird homage to Death in the Family, you know?
Yeah. Oh, good call. Good call. Absolutely. All right. So that's it for our comic reviews, but the show's not done. We've got up next, we're going to do Comics Tag. Marco, last week, I challenged to go ahead and read the second and third issues of Joker.
Third and fourth.
Third and fourth. Thank you.
Third and fourth.
Issues of Joker, which is the forbidden book. I was banned from reading this comic. I don't remember what issue I was banned at, but I read enough to know that it's really great.
Was it a self-ban or was it
It was a shame.
It was
a
shame
shaming on the
for the
part of the
cost, right?
audience. Yes.
Yeah.
The audience shamed me into not publicly admitting that I buy this book, and so I don't. I do not buy the book publicly. But I challenged Marco to read issues 3 and 4. What did you think about them?
You know what? First off, for me it was the art. So it was Guillaume Marsh, and love that. Like that dude absolutely crushes. So from that standpoint, a lot of fun. I think everything that was captured there was done really well. The more zany, wild parts, and you know what? The story is engaging. It's fun. I lucked out that DC Infinite had exactly the 4 issues. So because otherwise I would have had to buy one of them and pay like $8 or whatever it
You'd
is.
be in debt at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I right at the cusp, Sean. Right at the cusp. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other issue would have been too much. But you know what? I didn't think the premise, and I think we said this when we first started, of it being Gordon and like trying to solve this mystery. It's engaging. It's fun. I'm gonna as these books come out on DC Infinite, I'm gonna keep reading. I liked it.
Yes.
I liked it.
So,
Yes.
I also know a guy who's been telling me about this book because I don't buy this book either, but I know a guy who's told me about every issue that's come out so far.
Wow.
It's a good book according to this guy, and according to this guy, it's just a good Gordon book.
Yes.
Joker is really on the peripherals throughout it, which I think is good. Which he thinks is good Joker, where it's like he's more of a force of nature, and it's really more of a weird. It's like Gordon as Jason Bourne a bit. He's like this international detective going across the world and realizing how wide-reaching Joker's reach really is, and the amount of people he's affected. And also introspecting on himself and how what Joker has done to him and his family has really affected that, according to my friend.
Yeah, wow. Your friend gave you a lot of detailed information. on this book.
Real eloquent guy.
Amazing.
So actually, Sean, you know what? I was gonna give this to Tyler, so I think I'll tag you back.
You're gonna tag me back.
But Jeff Lemire is currently writing his own book for Dark Horse, solo book about a father and daughter, and it's called Maze Book. I've brought it up in the past. I think it currently has the most recent issue came out this week, issue 5. But I would ask you just to read maybe the first and second, see how you like it, and get another flavor for Jeff Lemire. It's also his solo work, so it's in watercolor. So similar to Dustin Nguyen. So I don't think it's going to be too harsh of a transition from an art perspective.
Okay.
A bit different in style, not as refined, a bit more pencily, and I think this issue of Batman and Robin is probably a good example of it. So I would challenge you to read Maze Book issue 1 and 2, 1 and then 2 if you like it.
All right. Well, challenge accepted.
you're throwing him in the deep end on the Jeff Lemire side of things. I've read May's book. It's I liked it, but it's.
Did you finish it?
No. I only read issue. I think I read till issue 3. I think, and I was like, I think I'll just buy this and trade instead.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Lemire.
Yes, exactly.
So,
and
yeah.
that's very much what I enjoy about it.
So I will take the challenge next week. I will be back to give my review of May's book and to tag someone else. I will not tag Marco again because we could go back and forth forever. Okay. If you guys listening now, whether you're on the stream or you're listening down the road, if you want us to make a recommendation to tag you, write to us at thecomicspals@gmail.com or leave us a comment wherever it is that you're listening to us with the kinds of books that you like. Or if you're open, we'll just make a general recommendation based on what we like to you. And then you can leave us your thoughts about the book whenever you get to it. From the Twitch chat, from Beyond the Stars, a.k.a. Catherine, a.k.a. Amy, says, that's a good friend. I need one like that. Okay,
Yeah.
So first of all,
Great friend.
this person that Tyler is describing is notoriously not a good friend. You should hear about the things that they do that Tyler is not saying. But also, you have me.
It's true.
I can tell you about comics.
Nah.
In fact,
Not about
I've done
Joker,
that
though, 'cause you're not
many
reading that.
times. No,
No,
I can't.
yeah,
I can't tell anyone about Joker.
Yeah.
Because publicly, I'm not reading that. Before we get out of here, we do have to get into the Pals Pulls. This is where we're going to let you guys know the books that we are looking forward to that are coming out next week. It's possible that some amount of these will end up being reviewed right here on this show. So without further ado, take it away, Tyler.
It's more like the Pals Pull. So the first one we're gonna. I know Marco and Sean are excited for the 10 Lives of Wolverine, X Lives of Wolverine. 10?
I would probably say 10 lives.
10, yeah.
I'd say X Lives to be contrarian.
There we go. So what are you hyped about this?
It's Wolverine. That's it. I like it.
Simple Marco.
I'm a simple man. That's it. I have two things I like in life: good comics and Swamp Thing.
And this falls under Good Comics? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
So the Swamp Thing not fall under Good Comics?
No, it falls under great comics. This is only. It's literally in its own league. A league of its own.
Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I'm really hyped about this because this is the next step. You know, they're touting this as the next big thing. This is the House and Powers of the Destiny of X era. I do not like that framing as a general rule because there's no chance that it ends up being, you know, the seismic toss that the X line maybe needs in the wake of Hickman. But I think it's still going to be really good. The fact that they're closing down all the other books and letting this breathe until March is pretty major. So I can't wait to see what they have in store. I will point out that cover that Tyler has up on the YouTube for those of you who can't see that. This is this is cover A, and I believe it's by Andy,
one of the Kuberts, I believe, is
Andy Kubert.
I think it's Andy.
Yeah, I believe it's Andy.
Yeah.
They're literally all the same pose and image with just a different costume on, which I really hate for some reason. But
you hate that?
Yeah, I
With
don't
the
know
costume
why.
or the fact that they're all the same?
The fact that they're all literally the exact same.
Man, this is like,
kinda
it's
bums me
like,
out.
so here's the thing. This is the reason why I picked this cover out of all of them to showcase. This has got to deal with Omega Red, right? Like,
Yes.
we got Omega Red kind of in the background of the Wolverine title. These are this is my boy, his hand tentacles. This is his wrist tentacles there. So I'm excited.
Tentacle gang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Bring that back.
Sean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't think you should get your hopes up for this actually mattering.
Really?
The feeling I've got from this book is that it's not a Hoxpox situation or an Inferno situation. It's like, hey, we have this story that will tie into the main Wolverine story because it has pretty much the same creative team. While we refocus our line and then relaunch it, you know, without Hickman. I think it's more of a catch-up thing. I don't think this is going to quote-unquote matter. I think it'll be good, but I don't think it's going to have, like, Wolverine really hasn't mattered in the grand scheme of things when it comes to the whole Krakoan era. So I don't know. I'm hedging my bets on this one in terms of the continuity gravity that this causes.
I think that's why I'm looking forward to it, just because it is the same creative team and it's like not tying into anything. Like I want to see what Benjamin Percy has to say, just because he's been doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I like the vampire stuff. I like the Omega Red stuff, and more recently he's just kind of been doing like single self-contained issues. So I'm glad that this is going to be part of like a story again, because that'll at least I feel engage me a bit more.
Yeah. Not only that, Vampire Omega Red.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Before you take us on to the next poll, I did want to respond to from Beyond the Stars. She said that it's super cool that we would tag her. Do you guys have any recommendations for Catherine? Before you answer, Catherine, you should probably kind of share in the chat a little bit about what it is that you like. Catherine, I can speak for her just a little bit. She loves the Marvel movies, the MCU.
Okay.
So probably something in that space.
And I'm assuming like not weeklies, but maybe trades and stuff.
It would have to be something pretty self-contained.
Yeah.
If that's
her
the
favorite
case,
character's
okay.
Iron
I would
Man.
say if she's still in the chat, name your top 3 MCU movies, and then I can generate something from that.
He's gonna just plug it in.
Yep, it's like the dot matrix machine from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory that tells you where the last golden ticket was. Is that a deep cut?
Yes. While she responds, you can take us on to the next one.
Yeah, Marco, you have Eternals number 9 on
Let's
your list.
go. This book has been fire. I've been enthralled by what Kieran Gillen's been doing, the way he uses these characters, the way he's implementing this kind of like high drama, like Game of Thrones-esque. We just started The Expanse, and if you're a fan of that, a bit more sci-fi focus, but that same kind of concept of, warring sides and who's gonna one up the other person, and these being Eternals, they are almost like these godlike figures, obviously succumb to the wishes of the Celestials, which is its own thing that gets dealt with. But yeah, I'm excited for what's coming on. Thanos has been a major player in this, and I'm excited to see how this continues to go.
Yeah, I would pitch this as sci-fi Game of Thrones.
Yes.
It's good. It's good stuff. It's good Thanos, which I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I love that cover. I'm surprised, Marco, you didn't tag me with Eternals. I'm like, I want a reason to read this.
Bro, do it. Just jump in. Should I tag you for that? Should I revoke a tag?
Me.
I don't. You can't untag.
revoke a tag.
You can't untag.
Can't untag?
No.
Damn.
Just like in the park, dude.
Keep that in the chamber though. There'll be more tags to come. So for me, my 2 picks, I have the first one as She-Hulk number 1.
Oh,
By Rainbow Rowell and Roshi Antonio. Rainbow Rowell has been or did the most recent run on Runaways, which I thought was fantastic. And seeing She-Hulk be on the on the front lines again is exciting as well. And this Jen Bartel cover it's A tier. It's so good.
Man.
It just that stark yellow in the background is just like, such a damn good color choice. I love She-Hulk, so I'm excited. I just want more She-Hulk, so I will gladly take that in a new ongoing. So there's that. And then I'm a simple man. There's one thing I like. It's the bar with no name. So it looks like Moon Knight's going to be attacking the bar with no name in the next issue, which is just a bar where a whole bunch of Z-list Marvel villains just hang out. And there's usually no fighting allowed in it. So let's see him go against. I think so. Electro is in there, the female Electro. Mantar, is that Mantar in the background there? Manbull, that's Manbull. Jack-o'-lantern, Bulldozer. It looks like the Trapster. There's some like real weird characters here. Tiger Shark, I think I see too, and the Wrecker.
Tiger Shark.
Yeah, man, I love these things. This is my cup of tea.
This is a Tyler-ass comic book.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then it's like Moon Knight and Marvel villains nobody cares about. Like, those are my two favorite things. It's like if Moon Knight led the Thunderbolts team, I would melt. That's just, I would scream without the S, if you catch my drift. Yeah, so I'm really...
God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, so I like Moon Knight, guys. I really like Moon Knight. Those are our polls. Those are our polls for next week. Wouldn't be an episode of the show if I don't make Sean just not be able to host by the end of it. So
that was crazy. So we got to get out of here.
Hitting the eject button real quick.
Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in live. Thank you guys that are listening to us whenever else. We really, really appreciate it. Please do head over to twitch.tv/thecomicspals. Hit that follow button so that you can help us out a little bit. We are 10 away from 50, which is a huge number over on Twitch. And you should hang out with us in the chat. The more people we get in the chat, the more interactive this can be. And we're going to keep coming up with ways to get you guys involved in what we're doing. So thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe over on youtube.com/thecomicspals. Any way you can leave us a comment, please go ahead and do so. Listen to our main show, which goes live every Saturday at 10 a.m. and drops every Monday for everybody who's not able to catch it live. We thank you so much for listening to that. Marco, were you about to say something?
Yeah, we didn't recommend a book.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, we didn't get a response from Catherine, but we can still recommend a book. Tyler, did you have any?
Just in terms of you mentioning the MCU, I would recommend Thor: God of Thunder. Looks like that book will have a lot of lasting effects, both in the comics and potentially in the MCU going forward. So it's by Jason Aaron and Esad Ribic. Real good stuff.
I would say Beta Ray Bill. So I know that you're a manga fan as much as I am, and so that's some over the top, like, manga inspired, wrestling inspired shit. Definitely lots of fun. Would recommend the Daniel Warren Johnson stuff that we did earlier this year. I think we all thoroughly enjoyed that book.
I'm gonna have to say, I think I want to go with Doctor Strange by Jason Aaron.
Okay.
At least the first trade. I think
good Bacalo art, right?
Yeah, it's really good art. Doctor Strange is a character who obviously has a lot of relevance right now in the MCU. It's very important right now. Yeah. And this is a version of Doctor Strange that I kind of anticipate we're going to see in the movies. And it's a clean story. You can come into this, you don't necessarily have to know what came before in order to understand what's happening, which is the best kind of recommendation. And then one backup choice, I would say Iron Man Extremis. You love Iron Man, I know that. And Extremis is basically the Iron Man story to catapult that character into the spotlight of the MCU. Or not the MCU, sorry, just like Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
So it's a great starting point for Iron Man to catch up on the last few years of that character. So those would be my recommendations. And if you end up reading them, let us know how that went for you, whether you enjoyed them. But yeah, that's going to do it for us here. We will be back next week. I almost said Sunday. Next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Thank you so much for watching.
10 a.m.
Until next time, take care, guys.